Hi everyone, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Kwaku here. I'm going to be taking you through your next Bible reading for the Gospel of Mark. Today we're going to be looking at Mark chapter 4, verses 21 to 41. As always, I'm going to just give you a few reflections that I've gotten from the scripture. Hopefully that encourages you to go off and read it for yourself as well. So let's dive right in. In Mark chapter 4, there are 4 stories that take place. The first 3 are parables that Jesus gives to the people as he's preaching. And the last one is a story about where we see Jesus do a miracle amongst the disciples. Now, I'm not going to go through each 3 parables. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot we can pull from it. So much in there. So really go off and read them for yourselves. But I will just pull a reflection from one of these parables. And the parable I'm going to look at is the mustard seed. Now, I really like the parable of the mustard seed because it talks about something very small and seemingly insignificant becoming very large that provides shade for the birds. Now, when Jesus is talking about shade for the birds, he's basically saying that this tree will become something that is a blessing to people. And for me, it's almost like an image of the church. Something small, something insignificant that happened thousands and thousands of years ago that people didn't think was going to become something amazing and massive is now an amazing and massive movement that gives shelter for people. It looks after people, it blesses people, and it spreads the good news of the gospel. A lot of times I like to relate it to myself as well, because sometimes we can feel like we're small, we're insignificant. God's given us a dream or an idea maybe, and we think that it's small and it's not going to amount to anything. With God, anything is possible. And those dreams will become massive giant trees that will provide shade for the birds. It will be good for people, good things for people will be done through those things. So maybe that's just something to think about when it comes to that one parable. What's something that you think is small and insignificant that God's trying to use and is trying to make into a massive tree that's going to bless a whole bunch of people? Now, the next thing we're going to look at is the story where Jesus calms the storm. It is literally one of my most favorite passages in the whole Bible. Now, with this story, I really love it. One, because Jesus is napping. Hallelujah for naps. I love naps. What happens in this story is that Jesus takes his disciples into a boat and they're crossing to the other side of the river. And while they're on this journey, crossing the river, Jesus takes a nap. He falls asleep. As he falls asleep, there's a massive storm that happens. The disciples get really frightened and really scared, like any of us would in the middle of a massive storm. But Jesus wakes up and calms the storm. And the disciples are left amazed and astonished that Jesus was able to command the winds and the waves to stop. Now, the thing we can learn from the scripture is that sometimes in life, things can be very hectic. Things can be over our head, and it can feel like God is asleep when we're going through tough times and hard situations. I definitely know I've been in some tough spots where it felt like God was asleep. But the truth is, God is always in control of everything around us and everything that's going on with us. If there's a storm in your life, just know that God has the power to calm it, and all you have to do is do what Jesus did, is rest. How crazy is it that Jesus managed to continue napping in the middle of a storm? I don't know if you've heard a storm before, but they're pretty loud. I think the thing we need to really focus on is taking a position of rest. Taking a position of rest and understanding that God is who he says he is. That he is always in control. And if he's always in control, we can rest in situations that seem hard or out of our control. We can rest in situations that seem bigger than us. Bigger than we can comprehend or bigger than we can fathom. Maybe there's situations you're going through in your life right now where you need to take a position of rest. Where you don't fight the storm, but you rest knowing that God can calm the storms in your life. And that, more importantly, he's in the boat with you. That's the most important thing. Jesus is always in the boat with you. Whatever you're going through, God is always by your side, holding your hand, rooting for you, pushing you forward, and telling you that it's all going to be alright at the end. So those are some things for you to think about. As always, with any of these daily scripture readings, drop us a comment, drop us a message. If you have any questions about it, if you're liking these videos, please do leave a comment below, message us, tell us some cool stories if the Bible's speaking to you as well. Yeah, we really want to know, we really want to be involved. Till next time guys, see you soon.